Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 397 at scavengerlife.com.
Even though we've been selling on eBay for a long time now.
Yes.
Although people would say, you've only been selling since 2008? I've been selling since 1996.
Well,
I've been selling back before they even took money.
my account is from 99, so I get street cred for that.
Yeah.
I sold stuff in 99.
Right. I feel like there's a lot of people whose accounts are that old, but I don't know if you could say that they were really selling. But
yeah,
I think that there are some people.
My mom's is from, I think, either 2000 or 99, and she has been selling since then.
But you know what? We're an inclusive group here, so it doesn't matter.
You could start your account tomorrow.
When you started. Let me get to my point.
Yeah.
So even though we've been selling for a long time, the rules of selling online do not change for us. You know, I find like selling on eBay has some very simple rules.
Ground rules.
And they don't change.
Okay.
And the longer you sell, they don't change.
Okay, interesting.
So for instance, buying things, scavenging. The big question we still ask ourselves is what should we buy and how much should we pay for it?
Yeah.
Like that question is always the exact same.
Yep.
And I know it came up for us this past week.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of online scavenging where we, like you can buy online auctions or even you can buy other eBay items and resell them.
Yeah.
But we do sometimes, especially on cold months.
Yeah.
We may do some online scavenging, and we were doing it's this past a week, and I know we were struggling with, should we buy this? Like, are we going to make any money off of it? Does anybody want this thing?
Well, we were looking at online auctions of like lots, bulk items. And I was getting so frustrated. It was yesterday, and I was just like, I don't know. Like we've been selling for so long, and still I'm like, is that a good deal?
So, let me sketch it out. So we like to buy big groups of things.
Right.
That seems to be the best deal for us or at least I'm willing to pay up for like a large lot of something.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you break it up and sell it on pieces.
I like doing that too.
But
a lot.
You get really frustrated with like if it's more than $10, and I'm like, this isn't going to sell for $10. Like this, there's like 500 of these things. Like,
well, I think it's with auctions. I get frustrated with auctions because I'm just like, I don't know how much I'm willing to pay for this. I guess that's what's hard for me. I'm like, what should I go up to?
But I mean, don't you? Because I think this is when you were getting mad at me. I was like, let's look at what's in the lot and imagine if we were to sell them all, how much we would sell them for, and how much would you make? And then you bid up to a certain amount.
Well, I guess I was like being lazy. Well, no,
did that make you mad?
Because the lots we were looking at were in pounds,
right?
So you're like, okay, there's like, 15 pounds worth of this item. I'm like, I don't know how many that is. How am I supposed to guess?
Yeah.
I ship items every single day, and sometimes I can guess a weight just by holding something.
Right.
And I'm like, that's about such and such, But I don't know. I think I just got overwhelmed and like lazy, where I was like, you know what? I don't want to think about this.
Yep.
I don't know the answer.
Well, I find like you're like that too when we go to in-person auctions where there's like a big table and you're like, if it doesn't go for $10, you're like, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, if we just go up to $40, we'll probably win it,
Well, I think it's the unpredictability of it for me. Like, I like buying lots of stuff. Like, I will buy lots on eBay from people where it's either buy it now, make an offer. But I do snipe auctions sometimes. But I'm like, this is how much I'm willing to pay. I've already done the research. I know this item very well. That's why I'm bidding on it on eBay, because you can find tons of, I'm like, it's this item that I'm looking, this lot of items.
They're selling 5 of them for $10 and
I can sell one of them for 50 or whatever.
And so it's kind of,
so I'm like, okay.
Right.
But that's the difference between eBay when you're like trying to snipe a bulk lot from somebody or buy a bulk lot from somebody. You're looking like, I want this specific item. When you're on like an online auction or an auction in person, you're like, there's a jumble of stuff here. I think this thing might be worth such and such. I don't know what that thing is. Like it just, I think it like, my brain shuts off. My brain's like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know should I pay $100 for this table? Should I pay $30?
Right.
Like, how much should I do?
So as you guys can see, it's basically an equation that we all have to do in our heads.
It's an equation,
or probably in our heads. For the most part these days, often the stuff we go and find is cheap enough where we just buy because we know we cannot lose money on it.
You can't.
You go, things are $1. It's like a bag day. It's it's
you can't
so
lose
cheap.
Money.
$3,
you will not
$4.
lose money. There's no way.
Yeah.
Even if you donated it back, I guess you would lose money that way. But
there are often times where we will be out and about and I'll find something that I've never seen before, and I will look it up. I'll pull out my phone and I'll type it in and see, will this thing sell?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Often it's for things over $10 is really kind of my if it's under $10, I'm pretty sure I trust my gut.
Right. I think the thing about this auction in particular too is it's kind of far away from us. It's not like an hour away, which for us an hour away is not that bad, but it's further away. So I'm kind of like, I get a little flummoxed where I'm like, I got to make the right decision because this is like a whole day thing.
Right.
It's not like, we got this. It was all right. But, it was only like half a day.
Well, I think that's a good point. The other part of the equation is, the equation of like, is it worth it is when you're in person. But then the other parts of the equation are like, how difficult is it going to be to pack? That comes up a whole lot.
That's a good question.
Like, I'm the king of finding something like, this thing's $1, but it's like the size of a refrigerator, Can we sell this thing?
That's a little extreme, but
and I kind of like put it on you. I'm like, Ryan, can you manage this?
Well, if it's the size of the refrigerator, it's local pickup, so I don't have to pack it anyway.
Right, but we have to be like, okay, all the work it's going to take and the hassle, it's got to sell for more than like $300.
Right,
I don't know, but then, it's like you said too, it could be if it's something far away we find on Craigslist or online. Yeah, we're like, is it worth driving 3 hours a one way, 3 hours back to pick this thing up?
Right, exactly.
That's another part of it.
The other part of that is we've done a couple other online auctions where you put all your bids in. You're like, I'm going to buy like 10 lots of stuff. I'm going to fill up the truck. And you win one of them. And you're like, I have to drive all that way to get one, box of stuff. But hopefully...
Right.
With this auction, we will.
That's why it's with this auction. I'm like, we just can't be interested in one. We have to bid very strongly on multiple auctions
to make it worth it.
Because we can't just win one auction for $10. That's not worth it. Like we have to be willing to spend like $500 or $1,000,
right?
To win a truckload of stuff.
Oh my god!
The other parts of the equation are. How long will it take to sell? How popular is this item? Right. That's a common one with us too. Although we have a very high tolerance for it's okay if it takes a long time. Yep. Like as long as we know that at some point people do buy these things for a lot of money, we'll grab it.
You know what's funny about long tail sometimes, and I noticed this recently on a couple items we've sold. You'll sit on something forever and you have like 3 or 4 of them. And then all of a sudden they all sell within like a couple weeks of each other. And you're like, why? Why did that happen?
I think it's just because there are people, it got posted on the blog, some like weird antique item or something, it got
something
talked about in
an article or something.
Now, a big thing for us, and I think it might not be true for some people, is like, do we care about this thing?
Yes.
Or in the condo style is like, does this thing bring us joy?
Marie Kondo. Oh my God.
I think some people are like, if I can make money on it, I don't care.
Right.
I mean,
I'm like that sometimes.
If I know it is just like a slam dunk, I'll get it. If I don't care about it. But, there are things where, like, I have to hold on to this thing for a while. I know it's not going to sell fast. But I'm like, do I really care about this thing? I don't want this to look at this thing for the next year. So we often won't buy that thing.
Exactly. Like, there are some things where I'm like, I don't, but I've sold them before and I know someone cares about it, so I'm going to get it. You know, like china and crystal and porcelain, you know, I'm like, yeah, no. But we sell that stuff.
But like things like ties, men's ties.
Right.
You know,
I do pretty well with ties.
Like a lot of people, you see these ties.
There's so many of them.
Cheap, and you know, a lot of them have like name brands, and you're buying them for like $0.25 and and then you have a big box of them, and then you list them all. And I don't know, they do sell. They sell for a long time, and now I personally don't buy ties.
Yeah.
I think you still buy some ties every now and again.
Very rarely. Like, if I'm like, this is a very cool 1950s, like, it's got to be so specific.
But I personally don't wear men's ties.
Yeah.
I don't want them in my life.
I probably sell them to people who have jobs or have an event they need to go to.
But going back to like this auction we're looking at, like some of these bids, some of these are ending today.
Yeah.
So we have to make a choice. Like one ends at 3:00, and I'm like,
should we
are
do
we
it?
Gonna get this or not? Part of for me is like, if I'm trying to convince myself too much of why it's worth it, I feel like I shouldn't buy it. You know, it's like if I'm having to like really talk myself into it, like I'm looking at it, I'm trying to do calculations.
Yeah.
If it's not like an easy choice, I find like it's not the best thing because I'm talking myself into it. Because I'm like, oh, I could sell these things. I'm being too optimistic about how much things will sell for. And that's happened to me where I bought a lot of stuff and it turned out like, oh, I'll be unlucky if I make my money back on this.
Yeah,
I was too optimistic about this lot of stuff.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's what's, I think that mindset comes into my head when we are like, this is going to be a full day of driving like to another state. And
I think you're too much like that.
It paralyzes me. I'm like, none of this is worth it.
Like even this week, we have sold stuff that we had bought at auctions. Where I'm like, remember that table that I bid on and I got it for $50, which seemed like a lot at the time, but
you just sold a bowl for $50.
Yeah, right.
One bowl, one of the bowls that was on the table.
It's tough.
You know? It is tough.
So if you're starting out anew selling on eBay, I mean, these things never ever change, and I think I'm better in the sense of I just we have so much more experience.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with so many more items,
Totally.
I mean, there are always times where I see things where I'm like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've seen a lot of stuff,
We've seen a lot of stuff. I surprise myself sometimes when my helper is listing something and I'm like, oh, that's not a such and such, that's a such and such. And it's like, where? I
mean, we're going to be...
How did I even know that?
I'm going to be like one of those old men at the auctions. In 20 years.
In like 5 years.
In like 20 years, where I will know, dates and styles, and I'm going to be like, that's like a Fenton glass from like 1932, and just because you just kind of pick up on that stuff.
Well, you sold one once, and you're like, I'll never forget it, Right. But I do want to mention though, with auctions and with finding bulk things, there are times where I'll get like a bulk set of whatever it is, and I'm like, I'll just sell them all together, and I'm like, no. You've got to break stuff up because honestly, you will make so much more money, like exponentially more money if you break stuff up.
Right.
So that's always something that I try to remember when I see like a big box of, some kind of junk and you're like, no.
So this is a good segue, Ryan.
Okay. I'm not even looking at the outline.
I don't let you look at the outline because you stare at it too much. It's better if it's like fresh.
Conversational.
Like okay, so we bought a new coffee maker, and it's for us. What we mean, it's a super automatic coffee maker.
Super automatic.
I mean, like that's not a joke. Google it. Google super automatic. It's like a thing. They're awesome. I love it. It brings joy to our life.
Much joy.
Yeah. So anyway, we bought a new one to us. It was $350.
It was used.
Yeah, it's $1,000, but we bought it for $350.
eBay.
Our other one had broke. So what Ryan did, she parted it out. And so it's like you said, we could have probably sold it broken, And someone might have bought it, and it would have been a kind of a pain to ship. But
for like 100 maybe, right?
Yeah. But you were really good where you went and started doing a research to see what parts people buy. And you actually spent a day tearing this thing apart. You took out like the heating element and the drip tray and the sides and just like all the little nozzles.
Every single piece, including the screws.
Yeah.
I am selling the screw because where else are you going to get the screws?
I think that there was a small pile of stuff we actually
I did throw away some things.
Donated.
Well, I threw away the part that went bad.
Right.
I was like, I'm pretty sure it's this part that doesn't work. And I will say this: I did repair it once before.
Yep.
So I did replace the pump. And then something else went bad, and I'm actually selling the pump, being like, I only use this pump for like a month, so it should be fine.
And then you had our helper take pictures of it all, and she was probably like, what am I taking pictures of?
She has no idea.
And then you elicited it all very quickly, because I think you were excited. Quickly, and one piece sold the next day for $75.
$79. So I will count that as $80. So here's the deal. We bought the coffee maker for $100 from these rich kids on Craigslist.
Yep.
Used it for about 2 years, and then sold one part out of the middle for $80. I mean, I did do work. I mean, I did work. My helper did work. It was work to part it out.
Right.
But one piece out of like 35 pieces.
So we bought the one we have now for $350. So the goal is, can we make $350 on these parts?
To pay for our...
Yeah. So it's like a net even.
Well, it would be like
zero.
It would be
cost.
So the question is, can we make $450? Because that would have paid for the original coffee maker plus the new one.
See, look, people, this is no joke. This is how we think. This is how we talk in our normal having a lunch. Because it's exciting. Yeah. Like, this is a creative, fun part of scavenging is like, how do you have this great life without having to spend a lot of money because you're willing to put in time and creativity into it. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about parting stuff out, and like I was saying, like taking lots and breaking them up, because like this guy, whoever bought this piece, he's repairing one, because people repair these all the time. When you're like, my such and such went out.
There are YouTube videos that show.
I've done the same thing. Oh, my drip tray cracked and now it's leaking. Great, just buy another one. They don't make this machine anymore, so it's hard to get a part sometimes. So, yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
And then, we're not done yet.
Oh, yeah.
We also bought, and this is me.
Yes, this is very much
So I saw at an auction, there was this old Polaroid, like, I don't know what you call it.
It's called like an enlarger camera.
Right. So, it had like a table with like a big post on it with like a thing on it that shot lights down. Anyone that knows photography will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was an enlarger.
But nobody wanted it. And I bought it for $10.
Yeah, it was about $10. $10!
And so we brought it home and we put it on our front porch, and it sat there for about 6 months.
And then I took photos of it and listed it, and there was a guy who messaged me, and he was like, I just want that one part that's sitting on the table, and I'll pay you $100 for it. Yep. And we were like, no, we got to part this out, because I know it's worth double that piece, and every other piece.
Right. I had thought that I could just sell the entire thing for a local pickup to someone for a couple $100.
And we might have.
Right.
We only let it sit for about a couple days.
But yeah, you were good. I found a site where some, random geeky guy was selling the parts.
Right.
So we kind of knew the names of all the parts and how much each one cost.
Not all of them, but some of them.
Some of them.
Yeah.
And then you basically took the whole thing apart.
Took the entire thing apart the other day.
And the next day...
Yeah.
We sold just these lights that were attached to it.
Yep.
The lamps for $120.
Yep. So they were $30. I sold them for $30 each. They were all tested. Yep. I tested them all.
He bought all 4 of them.
He bought all 4 of them. Yeah. So
and we don't even have all the other parts.
All the other parts aren't listed yet. Yeah. I have like 2 parts listed because I still have to be like looking up the part names. But so you're like, okay, well, that was a success, and I haven't even finished.
Yeah, we interviewed a guy, I think he was up in Canada, and he would do that where he would pick up like used appliances
and part them out.
And he would part them out and sell all the parts.
It's really smart because, like, especially with high-end appliances, you're like, you know, whatever machine you bought, you're like, I paid $500 for this machine, and the knob fell off and broke. You know?
And we've talked about it before. You know, when we buy, like, a refrigerator for our rentals, we don't buy brand new refrigerators. We go on Craigslist and buy, like, a used, but nice refrigerators.
But, like, barely used.
The problem is sometimes those will have, like, a cracked shelf or a missing little door side piece.
Yeah.
And if you try and buy those new,
they're expensive.
They're like $120.
Yeah, depending on what it is.
So, you know, those are parts, too, that are good to sell as well.
Yeah.
We could talk about this all day long.
I think parting stuff out is very smart.
It's exciting.
Especially if you can find the part names and numbers. If I couldn't do that, I mean, there are things on that coffee machine where I'm like, oh, it's a such and such. And then I look at the name and I'm like, that's not what they call it at all. So,
you can't just say, like, a black thing on the front.
The black filter. Yeah. It's like, no, it's not called the filter. Right. It's called the mesh cup holder.
But that's a great thing about the internet. You just start Googling that. It's pretty quick to find. Okay. What is your gut reaction to this week?
My gut feeling of how many things I packed, it felt like, I don't know where I'm getting this number. It felt like 50 things.
Okay.
Around 50 things. And it feels like it was like $1,800.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know where I'm getting that number.
I mean,
it's a gut reaction.
You don't even have to tell me a number, but
but that's
did it feel busy to you? Did it feel
yesterday I was packing and it was really annoying because stuff was selling as I was packing.
You're like, quit selling!
Right, which is not, I'm like, no, this should be annoying. Right. I was trying to get stuff out before our postal carrier came on Saturday.
Oh, okay, for the record, we did end... The person that bought that painting a week ago...
She paid.
She finally paid. So that doesn't count for... It's this week.
That was last week.
So it was $1,000. It was probably 36 messages back and forth.
So many messages.
Her daughter had to get involved and finally pay with her PayPal.
It got delivered yesterday. Yeah. We haven't heard anything, so...
And it's funny, after she finally paid, then something sold like right after that for $9. A tie. I was like, that's our store. You know,
it's just like $1,000 piece of like folk art and then like a $9 tie.
Bread and butter.
Cool.
But so we sold 58 items.
Oh, I was right.
So don't even count that.
Close.
And we made $3,600.
Wait, what?
Now,
where did I get $1,800? That's half of what we made.
One of those things was our laptop computer.
Oh.
And that sold for $1,300. So even if you take out the laptop, all of our random stuff, our week was about $2,300.
Well, that's okay. Look, hey,
pretty good.
That's a great week. Yes, I sold my laptop. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I actually sold it to a fellow scavenger.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope a fellow scavenger is getting
it was a beloved computer. It did so much good work for us.
I got the most souped up specs I could possibly get because I'm a video editor. So
we added all the RAM to it,
just
and memory.
Everything. Like I just needed so the reason I sold that one is because I needed a bigger screen.
Right.
I didn't realize that because I wasn't really editing a lot of video, and then all of a sudden we got all these video jobs. I was like, I need a bigger screen.
Yeah,
anyway,
a business expense.
Yeah. So, So I'm really happy about that. And God, what a great week.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, and we sold it's like we said, that coffee maker part was a cool one.
Yep.
Those lights off of that party
great.
Polaroid, that was
Love
cool.
That. Yep.
We sold 3 more pieces of pottery and glass.
Yes,
I always got to talk about this because
you got to remind us that stuff does sell.
I feel like that stuff is growing. We now we had 2 shelves full of like glass and pottery. We're up to 5 shelves now full of like glass and pottery.
We're like replacements.com.
I'm like,
basically.
I don't know where this stuff is coming from, but it's growing. So I'm happy when this sells, and these pieces will sell for $30 to $60.
Yeah.
So it's good.
I mean, I try to keep the more high end stuff. Yeah. Although I did sell this like really ugly glass and gold like candle holder for $12. But that was one of those things where you're like.
But the girl that bought it said that my mom had one of these, or
it was like
she was like, my mom
she was
has
like
one
matching
of these.
it. So you're like,
there you go.
How did that even happen?
Another fun thing that we found and sold was when we were in Manhattan, we were staying in this apartment, and right down on the same block,
yes,
I would walk by it, and I noticed that there were like boxes of books.
Yeah, very heavy.
I remember I was like, Ryan, let's go, and we like went through them all.
Yeah,
and it was like, I don't know. I'm imagining it was like a woman that works at a magazine or like a fashion.
It was something like that.
Company.
Yeah.
And she was being given like
samples
and books, and she was doing a clean out for it's Christmas time. One of those books, it was like a lipstick book or like
it was a Chanel book, and we were like, what's this book? So we opened it up, and there's some advertisements in the front. But then it was like a fake book. Right. So then you open up the middle and there was lipstick in it. Right. You know, it's like one of those hidden books, but like there was a cutout for this lipstick that was never used. And just the lipstick itself sells for like $50 to $70.
And we sold it for $75.
I listed it, and within a day, I had it up for $120. I was like, I'll try. Within a day, someone gave me an offer of $75, and I was like, yes,
no problem.
We got this for free on the street. Yeah. I'm happy to make $75 right now. So,
and I'm excited about that too, because she had some like weird like first edition or like a limited edition book. Like fashion books?
Fashion magazines, fashion books. One of them is a makeup manual that's signed by Bobbi Brown, who's like a famous makeup artist. It's a woman. And so I just listed that at the same time I listed that Chanel, fake book. So I'm hoping that,
Those are always... I mean, I will never...
That's why I love New York.
I will never tire of those kind of sales where you're literally trash to cash,
Yeah, trash to cash on the street.
Trash to cash.
Only in Manhattan.
Trash to cash.
Okay, you're really annoying. So Jay gets in a fight with me this morning for interrupting him. And what did he just do? I'm trying to make a point here. Like, only in Manhattan are you, like, first edition, like... signed such and such by like famous people, and someone's putting it on the sidewalk as garbage.
They're like,
whatever.
Yeah. But thank God though.
Right.
And we find this a lot. People will put stuff on the street, not in bags,
give it away
because they're assuming people are going to scavenge through them.
And they do.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, scavenge of the week. This week we didn't do a whole lot of scavenging.
I think we went to some thrift stores this week.
Yeah.
Very, very casually. Clothes, mugs, people.
Bread and butter stuff,
Look, I sell mugs. I think I sold 2 or 3 mugs last week.
We did. We sold like a 4-H mug for like $30.
That was cute. Definitely vintage. Yeah.
Farmers represent.
Yeah.
Okay, customer issues. I have to eat crow here. And I need to learn a lesson. And I'm going to do it publicly.
Okay.
So last week we talked about we sold a DVD player recorder.
God.
And, I know some people are really into electronics. They specialize in...
They test them.
They have like all the equipment and they know all the brands and the history and they do really well.
Yeah.
So I get caught up in that sometimes. So we were at a thrift store. I saw this DVD player.
It's like a recorder.
A Philips, right. And so it seemed like, oh, that's kind of cool. We got it. We power tested it. That's what we say. It's been power tested. It turns on, the thing's coming in and out, and we put it up and for like $80, and it sat and sat and sat. And so finally I was like, I'm just going to sell it for $30 and get rid of this thing. Some guy bought it. He received it. And then he said, I want to return it. It doesn't work. And he said, I bought all the cords. I'm at a church. And I'm trying to burn. And he says it doesn't work. And I don't know. He's probably right. So we just gave him back his.
I didn't even have him ship it back. That's what you told me. Yeah. You were like, why are we going to get it back? Because what are we going to do with it then?
So anyway, I need to learn to leave electronics to the pros.
Yeah.
Let other people sell those things.
Unless it's something like a tape player that you plug it in and put a tape in and it plays. And you're like, cool, it definitely works.
So that is my lesson learned.
That sucked.
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah, I can't say we still made money off that.
Because we did.
We actually lost money because we lost the
shipping.
Yeah. So
Look, honestly, that's kind of a cheap lesson. It's not like we sold it for $500.
All
we sold
lessons
it for
are
$30.
expensive, right?
Yeah, but it was pretty cheap.
Yep.
It's one of those things where you're like, never again.
Yeah.
I just never again.
Yep. Okay, things we learned in the forum. Okay, so a new person came on. He's not new to selling on eBay, but just new to the forum. Everyone's like, welcome.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm finding that it's more difficult to scavenge. You know, he says, like, lately, is anyone noticing, like, he sells clothes mainly, like, he's not seeing the same kind of stuff that he used to see that he could sell quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, the answer is maybe. I mean,
maybe?
Really, it's just like it really, scavenging is going to be different wherever you are.
Right.
East Coast, West Coast,
rural,
Midwest.
urban. She's going to name every part. Canada. South America.
So it's going to be, and it's different even region to our region, like where we are. If we go 2 hours away, it's totally different world.
Well, I mean, they're also what I've found in the last 10 years is, there used to be stuff we would find all the time. Shell cordovan shoes, wingtips. Pendleton shirts.
Yep.
Just like, Pendleton fabric, like just gorgeous, whatever.
I haven't seen that stuff.
You cannot find that stuff. It's unfindable.
We at least. And so it's interesting. So we started teasing out some more info from him because it's always good to
get details.
What the background of the question is. And the answer is he's still relatively new. A year or two into this.
Okay.
He's just kind of relatively new into to being a full-time person who sells on eBay. And he only has a couple hundred things in his store. So he's still relatively small, and he mainly focuses on clothes. And it sounded like he had specialty stuff that he was into. Certain things he liked to sell.
Okay.
And so what people were saying was, and it makes a lot of sense. Number one is we can't rely on any one thing to sell.
Yep.
So why don't we say Sherpa coats? Those
the lambskin,
it's mountaineer coats.
Right.
I don't know
what you call them. Marlboro
it's like a ranch hand would have.
Yeah, right.
I used to love finding and selling those.
Yeah. We
can't find those.
You can't find them
and if I was depending on just finding those, we would not have a store.
Yeah, right.
So we always have to be finding different things in clothes, but also branch out to other things.
Hence why we have 5 shelves of porcelain.
Yeah.
I mean.
Also, another thing is just because he was complaining about this, something that sells well today does not mean it's going to sell well tomorrow.
Right.
There are trends.
Yep.
There can be where people are selling, I don't know, a popcorn maker or something.
God.
And they're worth a lot, but then suddenly everyone sees that they're worth a lot, so everyone starts
flooded.
finding.
Yeah,
I'll give a better example. Those pans, the copper clad.
Like Revere ware.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
5 years ago,
we used to find them all the time, and we used to sell them like crazy.
Right.
And now you're lucky to get $18
because I think everyone realized that you could buy these things at thrift stores and list them. So things change.
I've also seen this where when you get into a certain thing and you're the one that has them all listed and you're selling them, you're setting the market.
Yeah, that's true.
Because on eBay, someone's like, oh, look at all this Revere ware that's sold in the last few months, which was ours, or who, the few small sellers that had it. So the other sellers are like, oh, I'm going to get this all the time. And that multiplies.
Yep.
I've seen that happen with stuff that we've had that are super specialty where I'm like, we're the only one that knows about this. Right. And then you're like, oh, no. Now everyone saw my solds, and now they're doing that. Or whatever it was.
Or one that was big, it's for us when we first started out, was pirate slouch boots.
Pirate slouch. I think that was a trend.
It was. So, we could buy the cheapest
Walmart brand pirate slouch boots.
A basic or
whatever, basic editions.
Yeah, basic editions, you know.
White stag.
And they would sell for like $40.
Oh, like easily.
Like within a year,
couple years,
that market fell out.
Just because
and we can't sell.
People still wear those. Like I see girls wearing those in New York, but like.
Yeah, they're not going online anymore for them.
Yeah, it's just they not as popular.
Forever 21 or
right.
Whatever. And then the other thing is just, scavenge in different places. So it sounds like he was just going to, he had like a group, and I could be saying, and maybe I don't know his whole story, but if you're just depending on a handful of thrift stores, or if you're just in one kind of area, I mean...
Yeah, you gotta
like
move.
Things can change in that area. So, try auctions.
Right.
And, people are like, well, I can't go to auctions because of XYZ. Well,
yeah.
I mean, this is just what the nature of the game is,
Estate sales.
I mean, yard sales. That's why.
Go on Craigslist. Go on eBay. Look for lots.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were saying, like, this guy said he didn't have a car. So it's like,
that's tough.
You should maybe think about buying at online auctions.
Right, have it shipped to you.
And just things are a business expense, if you got to hire a lift to take you places, I mean... This is just how all of us do it.
Yeah.
Things will change.
Those equations.
Okay, let's answer the comments or questions that people send in to us.
So you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. I feel bad for the person that has the other Gmail of just Scavenger Life, because I'm sure they're getting our emails.
Yeah.
You can also call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486.
Hello, Scavenger Life. This is Andy all the way out in Japan. Thank you very much for the podcast. I really, really enjoy it. Today I thought I'd share some actionable advice on how to send an offer to watchers. Now, I know this is something that you guys have talked about in the past, and I'm not really sure if you guys have tried it yourselves or not, but I thought I would go kind of step by step and tell your listening audience how to do it for themselves. I've noticed an uptick in my sales because of this feature. So, if you were to go to your active listings page, and that should drop down all the listings in your store. Currently, I have 1,166 listings in my store, but I specialize in trading cards and things like that. So it's pretty easy for me to just kind of list maybe 100 items in a day. It doesn't really take that much time. But so let's see. If you were to go to all the listings in your store, and you'll see all the different columns. You'll see action, photo, title, current price, available quantity, views, watchers, and perhaps time left. So the easiest thing to do is to sort your listings in your store by the number of watchers that the listings have. That'll be the easiest thing to do right off the bat. So doing that, I have plenty of listings with like maybe four watchers, 5 watchers, 6 watchers, all the way down to 0, obviously. And let's see, if you go to the top of the page, you'll see results, perhaps 1 through 200, so however many listings you have in your store. And below that, you'll see the tabs for edit, sell similar, actions, and sell it faster. Okay, so the main point of this is immediately below that it says show eligibility, promoted listings, offer to watchers, and none. Now for me, for the longest time, promoted listings was my kind of default selection, and I've never really played with the other 2 options until recently. I just clicked on offer to watchers because I didn't really understand what that meant. So I clicked on that, and for those of you that are following along, you might see a little change in your listings. Let's see, under the listing title, you'll notice maybe either an orange or green little light that pops up, or button rather. And the orange button would say not eligible for offers, but the green one would say eligible for offers. So what I noticed is that if you were to click on an eligible for offers green button, so I'm just going to go along with you guys. I have one that's available right now. It says send offer to buyers. It kind of pops up in a new page. It's like, this is fantastic. So the listing that I chose had 5 watchers on it. I clicked on that eligible for offers listing or the green button, it sent me to a new page, and it says that now I can send an offer to, let's see, 3 interested buyers that are actually watching this item. So you notice I did mention that there were 5 watchers for this particular listing. However, it seems like I'm able to send an offer to 3 of those watchers. Now, after doing a little bit of research, it seems like some buyers on eBay can select whether or not they want to receive offers directly from buyers without sending an offer themselves. So this is part of the communication settings, I guess, for these buyers. So not everybody that you have watching your item will be able to receive an offer or want to receive an offer. But regardless, I have 3 interested buyers in this particular listing that I have up for sale. So I'll tell you, this particular listing is up in my store for $799.99. It's pretty inflated price, but it's pretty rare item. So, but I have a lot of interested buyers or interested watchers. So the page is set up. It looks just like sending an offer page. Your offer will be sent to 3 interested buyers. Interested buyers are people who are watching your item. Once you send the offer, they'll have 48 hours to respond. So my offer price, let's see, it's $799.99. I'm just going to throw an offer price of, I'll do $600. I'm happy with that price. And then you can also include a message to the buyer. Now, what I've done, I've been doing this for the last couple of weeks, so I've made kind of a template, a send offer to watchers template. And I would just, whatever you want to include in that, I went ahead and just made a text document on my desktop, and I'm going to copy paste that into message to buyer, and I'm going to click on the send offer to buyers button. That's $600. Let's see. And it says, you've sent an offer to 3 buyers. We'll let you know as soon as a buyer accepts. And that's it, folks. So that's all you got to do. It seems pretty simple. What I do, one quick tip is when you see the green button that says eligible for offers, that's a clickable link. So I always just right click, open new tab, right click, open new tab, right click, open new tab, do all the listings that I can, and then just bam, 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 send offers, copy and paste my message to buyer, and then send them off. 5 minutes, I've sent maybe 10 to 15 offers to people, and it's pretty smooth. The only thing that eBay, I guess, requirement that eBay has is that the offer price that you send out is 5% off from the buy it now price. So I'm willing to take 5% off of pretty much anything in my store if that means a sale. So for me, like I said, I've been doing this for the last couple of weeks, and I've seen an uptick in my sales based on the sale price that I've been getting from items. They're not the full price, but they're kind of the offer price that I've been sending out. So that's my quick little, not really quick, sorry, this is pretty long message, but this is my tip for your sellers out there. And it'd be interesting to see if you guys wanted to try this as an experiment in your guys' store just to see if it works or not. But that's it, guys. Thank you once again for the podcast. I really appreciate it. And keep on trucking. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, number 1, welcome from Japan. I would love to hear more about selling on eBay in Japan. You know, if your customers are more local Japanese people, or are you mainly selling Japanese stuff to, people in America and Europe? I'd love to know that.
I would love to know about your shipping.
But, okay. So this guy brings up a good point about sending. So without buyers doing anything, so people are out there and they watch your items.
Right.
Is there a way just to send an offer to a buyer? Now, for a long time, that was not possible.
Right.
The buyer had to actually, or not the buyer, but the person had to actually send you a message. And then eBay had instituted a thing where, you could answer it and put an offer within that. But they had to first message you.
Yeah.
So what he's talking about actually, and I don't know if it's different where he is, it's not really a thing in America just yet.
We can't see. We looked through the steps he said, and I couldn't see that.
If we go on my eBay, it's not there. But I do remember someone bringing this up on the forum a month or 2 ago. Mm-hmm. And this person put a link that I bookmarked, and I just checked this. It's like a different view of our store. It's called My eBay Selling Overview. And up in the URL, it says My eBay Beta. So anyway, if I go on there, it does have section that says send offer to buyers. And it's just, I mean, we have 8,000 items.
But it's random items.
It's got 5 random items that I can click on and send an offer to the people who are watching it. Now, I tried this a month ago and nothing happened. Like, people didn't buy. And then there were no more offers that popped up. I just checked now. I could send offers to 5 people. 5 items.
I just wonder how they choose those items.
I think it's all still in beta mode.
Yeah.
Because the danger of this is it could just become like spam.
Right.
And people could get really upset at eBay. Because I know I watch a lot of stuff on eBay where I'm more just using a watch list as a bookmark.
Right.
A list. Like, I might not even buy it.
Well, I'll watch stuff to see if it ends, how much it sold for eventually.
It would be super annoying to me if, like, the 50 things I have on my...
people are always sending me offers.
I'm getting offers all the time. So I'm assuming it's something new, and it does seem kind of possible, but it's not baked in yet. And I'm hoping that they're trying to figure out the best way to... implement this.
I wonder if they could somehow have an algorithm where if you got an offer from someone else recently, you're not going to get them all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they would do that.
I would just be more interested, anyone that has the ability to send an offer to a buyer or to a person that has never contacted you. If they'll buy Do they actually buy it? That's a question I have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if it's not helping spur sales, like,
then
what's
it
the
doesn't
point?
matter.
But anyway, thanks for the call.
Hi, Jay and Ryan. This is Tiffany. I've been a long-time listener and really love your podcast, so thanks so much for taking the time to do that every week. So I've been reselling on eBay and other platforms, I think since 2016 or 17. So I've only been a couple years in, but I really love it. I am one of those people who has a full-time corporate job and I'm doing this on the side to pay off student loan debt and work towards other goals. The ultimate goal is to get out of corporate America entirely, but I'm not near that yet. I have a question for you. My question is, every week you all talk about how you need $1,000 to pay your bills, or to, keep the lights on. I know you live frugally, which is awesome. But I'm curious if you would be willing to break down, if you'd be comfortable breaking down that $1,000. So where my head goes is, are taxes considered, as a part of that 1,000? Are savings considered a part of that 1,000? Maybe investment towards, other properties or other ideas you guys have. Like, would you be comfortable breaking down that 1,000 a little bit? And then what do you do with the money that goes above and beyond $1,000? Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, so this is a great question. And this answer is going to be different for everybody. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I throw out these numbers and then I don't get specific about it. But I'm also not like Dave or Ramsey trying to sell like a system to people. So we're just talking about what makes sense to us. So when I say we need to make a minimum of $1,000 every week, so that's $4,000 every a month. Right. That is our like drop dead least we need to like keep the police from kicking us out of our house, and so that $1,000 are for 3 mortgages,
right?
Because we have a rental property, so that's to keep our mortgages paid. That's for our health care, that's for our food, that's for our electric, that's for our internet, and for fuel for our cars.
And property taxes, right? No, you don't count that?
I don't count that. That's, okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could. Yeah. But, property taxes is once every 6 months, so I don't really. But those are our monthly expenses where, around the first of the month, we start getting, starts pulling the money out of our accounts because most of our bills are automatic payments.
If we didn't have other businesses that included real estate, we would be living on so much less.
Right. I'm sure, a majority of what we need is actually to pay the mortgages on our rental properties.
Right.
So I'm sure some people are like, oh, you should keep your businesses separate and every business should be its own LLC with its own accounting. And I get it. That's not how we do it. It's fine. eBay basically pays for the bills.
And that includes mortgages.
Right. So anything that we get billed for at the beginning every a month, that's what we include.
Yeah.
Things like, car insurance, property taxes, we pay all that stuff once every year.
We do. We pay it up front once every year.
Home insurance, we just do it every January.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's what we include. And so we also don't include savings. We don't include that either.
That's not part of our equation.
Yeah. So again, everyone's going to have their own equation there of what they need. But it's good that you're thinking of what those numbers are.
Right.
For us, it's just those are the numbers that are important to us because our rental business is a big, important part of our future, the way we think of our future income.
And our rental business money is paying for expanding that business.
Right.
So, you're like, well, what are you doing with all that other money? We're buying more property and renovating it. Right. At this time, that's where that money is going.
We're still in
expansion mode.
And then at some point we'll stop expanding and just pay everything off and then just
pay off all the mortgages, pay off any debt.
That's kind of our thinking.
We don't know when that's going to happen. We talk about it every year. We're like, is this the year that we just pay down a mortgage
and just stop?
And the answer is no so far. So
it's still fun. But each of us need to figure out what those numbers are.
Right.
If you're trying to leave a corporate job or any kind of job,
do your numbers.
You might need to have numbers in there where I need to save up $40,000 before I'll quit and feel comfortable. And so that needs to be part of
I know people have done that.
Numbers.
It sounds like a lot. And I know people that have been like, I'm going to save up half my...
Some people are like, I've got kids in high school, so I need to save up, $100,000 to send them to college or whatever.
Yeah, don't do that.
For a 1 year of college.
For half a semester. Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Saying hello from the IC North, otherwise known as Illinois. Thought I'd pass along a little lessons learned I had this week. I listed a Sears Craftsman hobby tool. It's a rotary tool, and I listed the item, and in the title I put similar to a Dremel. eBay, after a few days, noticed that, and they pulled my listing and said you can't put similar to another brand name. And I knew that, but I guess I forgot when I listed that item. But I thought I'd pass along so other people maybe won't have that problem. Thanks.
That is a very good point, and I think you saved yourself, or eBay saved you, because somebody's going to buy that and be like, you said this was a Dremel. They didn't quite read it.
I mean, there are times when we will find a shirt that looks like a Pendleton. It's wool, it's got the plaid.
It's a Pendleton.
And it looks like the tag probably got pulled out, but we don't know. And so we still want to say this is Pendleton-like or like a Pendleton. And
right.
And we've also had things pulled down or people buy it. Even worse is someone buys it, they get it, and they're like, this isn't a Pendleton. How can you prove it?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I think I know what you mean, though. You're like, I want to get the people who are looking for Dremels to look at this. It's so funny. I was just looking at my email for a second, and I saw we were talking about those shoes, Allbirds, and one came up for $20, and I was like, oh, I'm going to buy these. But they weren't Allbirds. They just put that in the title, but it's some other brand.
Right.
They're like, it's like that.
But if you were to buy those and get them,
right,
and you realize, oh, this is an Allbird, you could send them back, items not as described, and eBay would back you up. So, anyone that thinks that that's a good idea, just be careful, because eBay will not back you up.
And it's not even so much that you're like, I gotta get the keywords in so people looking for it. You just gotta be careful, because people will just send it back, and then it's all on, you have to pay for all that, and it's a pain, and you're like, okay.
What's up, guys? I'm calling you from the West Coast.
anyhow, I had to contact eBay the other day and just wanted to let you know that I was told by someone in the American call center when I called, and the reason I called was because once again, about every couple of months, we will have a 5, 6, 7. One time it was a 9-day period where we sell nothing or one thing. I currently have over, I don't know, probably 520, 25 items in the inventory in active listings right now. And so just to tell you, the difference between the market, probably 3 years ago, I made as much as I make now with 100 items or 150 items or less. So anyhow, there's been a lot of changes from eBay. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. I know the difference between when times are slow and when times are good, and when there's an actual issue with something technically or something eBay is doing. So I called and I said, hey, listen, it's been, I think it was 5 days we went, 5 or 6 days at that time with one sale. What's going on? And I actually had somebody in the American call center. I said, I don't want to hear that you're typing my keywords in and you're finding my listings and everything. I go, I want to hear what's going on. I want the truth. I've been doing this for a long time. I go, I know better than to have this issue be something that the market's just slow. This is something different. What they told me was that there is an issue at times that eBay does in the technical department, and they are not allowed to tell me what it is. They have to have a supervisor answer these questions. So I thought, okay. And as she looked for a supervisor, I said, what is the issue with this? What type of technical issue is it? And she said, I don't know. We're only allowed to tell you so much, but there are times when the technical department does something and it affects the way it affects people's sales, essentially. And I said, is this what is happening the other times when I have to call about every 2 months or so when this happens, as of the last year or so, year or two? And she said, probably the same thing. And so I just wanted to let you know that there is things they mess up on, things they do, and that's what I was told. And I don't believe that, they're trying to screw anybody over. I think they're just really incompetent. So just want to let you know there is a difference. There is something that happens, and it does affect your viewings and your listings. It's not a conspiracy theory or anything like that. This is coming out of their mouth from eBay. Anyhow, I know I'm probably out of time, and just want to let you guys know. Have a good day.
Cool. Well, thanks for calling. I mean, I'm always glad to discuss things as long as, we're adding like actual concrete detail to the conversation rather than just kind of like armchair quarterbacking. So did he say that he didn't have a single sale for 5 days?
Yeah, 5 or 6 days.
But
he said one sale, but then he said he'd been through times where he would go like 5, 6, 7 days with 0 sales.
And he says he has a small store, right?
500 items about.
So it's not tiny.
Yeah, but still, that's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, look, and then if someone at eBay actually told you that, it kind of reminds me of, has anyone seen that new series, Westworld, on HBO? And there's a character, Ed Harris plays this like grizzled like guy who's caught up, he's like obsessed
with this
world where he's looking for some secret, and he keeps finding these like images of like this maze. And he's think that there's something underneath the world he sees, and he's trying to get to the truth, and he's like killing people to do it. He's
like, I know there's an answer.
Anyway, I feel like it's kind of like that with eBay. I mean, that you're going around the eBay world and you're looking for the invisible clues or the clues in plain sight. I mean, if someone at eBay told you that there are technical issues that can affect sales, I mean, I guess I can see that as being true.
Yeah. Like, remember when they accidentally deleted everybody's photos and couldn't get them back? Yeah. And that might affect sales.
Yeah. I mean, so, but again, I think we're talking about two different things. One is like a technical issue that I'm hoping aware of and try and do something with.
Now,
the conspiracies that annoy me are when they're like, yeah, eBay is purposely
blocking my store,
like only allowing me to sell certain amounts of money because of they want to have
more sellers. Sell
it just doesn't make sense.
The only thing that I can think of for technical reasons is that search gets messed up, so your stuff is not being found.
Yeah.
That's what, they're not blocking your site. They're not like, it's like the search algorithm is such, they tweak something and like your stuff's not just being seen.
Look, we've been selling full time for a decade, and we definitely have those periods where like you're like, we sold one thing today.
Like we have 8,000 items and you're like, we sold one $9 thing.
Like there are some slow weeks where we sell, like 18 items, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it always comes back. Like we had a great week this week, and to me, it's like, there might be technical problems, but at the end of the day, what am I going to do about it?
What can you do? That's the hard thing.
I can call them and complain to some customer service rep that has no power.
Yep.
I can complain about it and be really mad. I can quit eBay. I know. These are the things where like
you could sell on another platform.
Yeah, where each of us just have to make that choice. Like if someone really believes that eBay is not a trusted partner, that they don't have our best interests in mind, that they would actually stop us from making money, which would stop them from making money.
Right.
I mean, if you really believe these things, then I don't think
we're not saying you said that, but that's the logical conclusion from slow sales.
I mean, I'm just trying to take people's thinking to their logical conclusion.
Right, exactly. And I felt that way before sometimes, where I'm like, we haven't sold anything all week.
And there's a good group of scavengers right now on our forum that are really like 2019's they're a year of branching out.
Right.
They're still on eBay. They have all their stuff on eBay, but they cross post to
Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy.
And what I'm looking for is like, okay, how are people doing?
Yeah.
Like if people do this for a year, are your Poshmark sales more than like a couple $100 a month?
Is it making a dent in your inventory?
I mean, and these are interesting things,
Yeah.
So I hear you. It can be frustrating, but ultimately we are in this tenuous relationship with any online platform,
no matter
whether it be Amazon, eBay. I mean, we have to assume some goodwill.
Right.
Or else don't sell them.
Or else you just got to sell out of the back of your car at a flea market. Like,
there you go. Cash in the pocket.
We were talking to my mom last night, and I think you walked outside at one point, taking a break from the conversation.
Oh, I love your mom.
Just kidding. Well, we go back and forth. Like, you'll be talking to her, and I'll like go do something and come back, and I'll like miss part of it. But like, so she was talking about her sales, and she was like, I am down like 30% from last year, like comparatively. And you're just like, yeah. I mean, I will say that she had her store on quote vacation mode. Like she turned her store off for several months. So I think that doesn't help. But also, you're like, I feel like numbers are down, and that happens, that just happens sometimes. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, that's why we started diversifying our income. We're like, we still have our video work. That helps. We do the Airbnbs, so.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, we'll wrap this up because this is kind of going down another path. We didn't start the rental business purely because we wanted to diversify.
Not because, but I'm saying
it's like an added
it does
bonus.
help.
Yeah, it's definitely an added bonus.
I'm not saying you have to do that, but that's kind of what people are doing when they're going to Poshmark and Mercari, is they're like, I want to try to like...
Yeah, I think for me, I'm always interested in people that sell on eBay. Is like, if that's what you really want to do, if like being a scavenger and selling old shoes on the internet is like your dream, then awesome. But I'm assuming a lot of people are doing it because they don't want to have to go into a job. They want the flexibility of their time. And then selling on eBay helps. And then what do you really want to do? Do you want to run a food truck? Like that's my perfect example.
Jay's like, who's going to run a food truck?
Or do you want to like, fix computers or, run like a daycare? I don't know.
Have a bookstore.
Let eBay be the thing. And I think for us, we've just really been kind of passionate about like property, like buying pieces of cool property, renovating it, and then renting it out. That's exciting for us, and eBay allows us to do that.
Exactly. Yep.
So we just went from one place. So we were point, and now we're at point Z.
Look, this is why people listen to our podcast, because we're not just like, and the answer is yes or no.
Right.
Next question.
Yep.
We go down rabbit holes.
Buy my packet for. Buy my system. Buy my system.
Okay, that's it for the podcast this week. You can check out the blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discuss and to join the conversation on the forum. You can leave a question or a comment, and our voicemail line is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video, currently being brought to you by Stephen Schultz. He is in the Midwest. He's in South Dakota, and last week he showed how cold it was there in his video.
Yeah, he like came outside with
a boiling pot of water or hot pot of water, threw it up in the air, and it froze instantly.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
That's so crazy. Okay, you can subscribe to our Patreon on our sidebar, which helps us for as little as $5 a month. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube for free, so you always get the latest episode. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.